Hi there, viewers. This is my Coolance water-cooled case with a computer inside. This case is made by, I want to say Antec. I think it is an Antec case, but Coolance ripped it a new asshole and, put on a whole bunch of cool stuff. So it's pretty nice. Now, this is an older case. I got it new. I'm a fan of older water-cooled cases. I do not like the new ones, so I paid the extra bang for the extra buck and got an old stock case that is no longer sold. This whole entire case was made in 2004 through 2001, I believe, through that time period. And, I don't know, I really do like these cases, so that's why I got it. Now, I've done a few mods to it, because I'm a low-budget person at the moment. Well, first I guess I'll show you the insides, or the features of it. You have 3 fans right here, and two of them suck in, these 2 suck in, then this one blows out. This one spins at an always faster RPM than these 2, so it kind of equalizes the pressure flow. Now under this there's a radiator, and then under that there's a cooling duct. So the air goes like this, circulates, and then goes up. So none of this air goes into the case. Second, DVD burner, nothing too fancy, but as you can see there's this custom-made panel I made right here with a toggle switch. You're probably wondering what that is for. Well, this thing has 2 power supplies. Reason being, I didn't have enough wattage with my first power supply to handle, the load that it was going, so I kept on getting a blue screen. The Bassad. And I was not happy about that. I did a lot of research and finally discovered that it was because my power supply simply wasn't putting up, pumping enough watt for the motherboard, graphics card, hard drives, CD-ROM drive, all 7 fans that are in this thing. Just all the components, so. Oh yeah, can't forget the pump. But, yeah, anyways, so that's why it's got that panel right there. The Coolance CPU control, or temperature control and cooling system CPU control, you can toggle from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Right now it's on Celsius, because that's just what I like to use better, but it's at 82 degrees Fahrenheit as of right now, and that's idle. That's right around idle. There's a few things going on my computer, but not much. You can up the fan. Oh man, I keep on dropping the camera down. I'm sorry about that. You can up the fan speed. Number 2 doesn't up the fan speed. It actually just makes the pump spin faster and makes a little bit more noise. Turn it on 3. It brings up the fan speed all the way. It chills down the CPU. Pretty good. Now, if you don't feel like dealing with that, you can set it on in the inside to do that automatically. But I like doing it, so I just like monitoring my temperatures. But alright, so I'll go ahead and open up the case, which there's just a nice little latch here. You just pull it this way and it just opens up off the side. And I've seen some very hard to open cases, and this is definitely not one of them. It just has a hinge like, opening style. Alright, so as you can see, we got the power supply up here. It's a Rosewell, very inexpensive power supply. I should have, just broke down and bought a nice one. And then down there we have the second power supply, which is screwed into the bottom of the PC with custom mounts. With 2 power supplies in this thing, it's a little bit messy. It's not a nice tidy computer. So, and that's okay with me. I don't mind, because I know where everything goes. But these connectors right here, these 2 wires that are coming out of this drive bay, that's for the front panel right here, as you can see. That's my custom-made mayhem. And what I did is, just so I can see that the other power supply was running, was I ran an LED from this power supply, going to the front panel. And then how I hardwired it to make it so I had a separate switch was I just cut the green and black wire off of the 28-pin Molex connector on the thing, that's your power switch. Wired it up to the toggle switch on the front of the computer, and that works good. Now this is water cooled. When I got this case, it had a damaged cooling tank, or coolant reservoir. So I've got a different one in there right now, and that one as well is a custom built, as you can see. Let's see if I can get it out of there. Alright, slides out of a drive bay. Nice and easily. There we go. There it is. It has a submersible pump in there, and it's got the lid, you know, it just unscrews. It's very sealed. It unscrews like that. It's also got a pressure relief valve on the top in case there's, you know, an outrageous amount of pressure buildup. Now, a nice thing about the top panel up here, you know, that tells me what's going on, is it will tell you everything about the cooling system. If it gets too hot, it'll scream at you and beep and set off the accelerator light, you know, which is basically your check engine light. But it's pretty cool. Alright, so I'll move it up to here. As you can see, there's the radiator right on up there. This is the, you know, end hose barb connector right there. I'm really not too good at describing, you know, my computer stuff, but hopefully you're getting a general idea of what's going on. So, this submersible pump that's in here moves quite the amount of water, which is also not the stock pump. And as you can see right here, here's the coolant tubing, which you can't really see the coolant lines going through this computer too well. I'd eventually like to get a nice, you know, UV light in there and get some UV reactive coolant to put in this thing so it look cool. Tubes that glow like a glow stick. But back here we have a Coolant's water block that comes with this case. That's one of my favorite water blocks. We've got the Intel processor set up on there. It's overclocked all the way up to 4 gigahertz right now. We have an ATI Radeon graphics card. It's 512 megs. And it's got, at the moment it only has 4 gigs of RAM. It can go clear all the way up to 8 though, with, you know, added RAM, which I will be adding soon once I get everything configured properly. So, I have plenty of those. It's got quite a lot of RAM slots in there too. They're in odd places. The motherboard is a Foxconn motherboard, which I've always had good luck with those. Quite good luck, actually. And, yeah. I don't know. You know what I'm gonna do is reboot the computer and show you how you start it up with 2 power supplies, because you guys are probably wondering how the hell do you start that thing. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and shut it down. This is a modified version of Windows XP. It's Windows Black. You can download it off of the Pirate Bay, but I always customize it the way I like it. So we're gonna turn it off. I have a lot of stuff open, so it might take a second. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So now we wait. You'll notice that only these will go off, but this one will stay on. There it goes. Any minute now. This case is actually pretty quiet too. Not a lot of noise. And I do apologize for dragging on this video. There it goes. Computer motherboard is turned off. And the cooling system stays on, as does the power supply. Now, I'm going to tell you what this power supply right here runs. First, I'll shut off the power supply, which you just flip the switch, and it turns itself off. This power supply at the bottom here runs all the fans and the cooling system up here. And I do believe it runs a hard drive too. Yes, it does. It's running the drives, and yeah, that's it. This drive will turn off though once it gets the okay from the motherboard. So after you shut it down, you can turn on your second power supply, and this will not start up. The drive just sits there until you apply power to the motherboard. But you can turn it off. As you can see, there goes the cooling system. There it goes, turning back on. Yep, very nice system. And pump will continue to run, so, you know, maybe you'd want to let this thing run overnight and get super cold. I don't know. You know, who knows why. But, it's pretty nice. So then the top power supply up here is just running the motherboard and graphics card and the CPU and the chipset cooler. That's it. So, you know, that's convenient. And I guess I'll go ahead and turn it on. How you do it is you never flip this switch first. You do this one first. After you hear the beep, you kick on the hard drive. And then it will detect it. There it goes. And just to prove to you that it can detect the drive, which I just showed you, since it's obviously booting up, I just killed the motherboard power. I will leave the drive turned off. And I will show you that it will not detect the hard drive now. No hard drive. But if you were to kick it on, you know what, let's do something different. Let's turn on the hard drive. And let's see if it will recognize it. Yep, it does. Told the motherboard to say, okay, turn me on. Huh, well that's cool. I'm talking to myself. Alright, so, proper way to do it. You turn on the power, you look at the beep, then you kick on the switch. And then it starts reading it. So you can see it says detecting IDE drives. It'll wait until it spins up. Then it will boot. Pretty cool. Very cool, actually. I really like this case, and I've had a lot of water cooling cases. I'm pretty experienced in that field. Not to brag or anything, but I am. And, you know, I've gotten several water cooling kits and cases. My most hated one so far, out of all of them, is a Thermaltake Big Water. I have had terrible luck with those. I've had friends have terrible luck with them, and they don't cool your CPU off that well. I mean, it's like no better than air cooling, so why have it? Just to risk your parts? I don't think so. But this is my computer setup. There she is, with the big tower speaker sitting on. And that's my amp for my computer speakers. I know it's kind of outrageous, but that's just how it is. Very speedy computer. And excuse this part, this is kind of in progress, but this is my server setup right next to the computer. Got some hot swap drives sitting up there on the shelf. A few odds and ends. Some vitamins, hell yeah. No, but, yeah, we got some odds and ends. There's the actual servers, though. And then this one's in pieces right now, but yeah, there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed this long, boring video. Just to kind of give you an idea, if you ever get one or come across one of these cases, you know, at Coolant's water-cooled case, they have great reviews. They work good. They keep my processor at 27 degrees Celsius idle. At load, it's about 30. So that is really good, and it's overclocked to 4 gigahertz. So pretty good. Alright, see you guys later.